mutual aid and everything. And because we're like coming in later into the game, we've been put into operation of draft site or hard suction, or water supply. For instance, the last fire we had off of Pancus Mill, we pulled up. They said, see if you have any, viable water supply back there, behind us and everything. Sure enough, there was a little creek like this, more or less. It was enough flowing water that we were able to establish a water supply for that fire ground. And this truck did everything, supplied, filled tankers, all off of that one. It's at a 5-inch, 1,200 feet, probably, roughly. So, but I did run into some problems with it because of, we'll put both on. There's a floating basket, and then there's the submersible basket. Well, the floating basket was caused, what happened was, and I'll show you with the deck gun and everything. I needed to keep, so I don't lose, with shutting off, I keep the pump constantly operating, so I'll have the deck gun in operation so that I don't have it, so I'm not churning the water and I'm not like losing my vacuum as I do it. Yeah, so I'm going to have a vacuum on the pump, but if you keep the water in flow, like if one basically back to your water supply, and with them shutting down and turning up, either whether they're shutting down or calling for more water and stuff, you'll gauge that off your gauges and everything on the truck. The biggest thing is the help that's needed to establish the water supply is the biggest thing. It's not. It can be a one-man operation, but it's a pain in the ass one-man operation. So
it's likely that we'll do all this. I mean, we are on Atlantic County's
Task
Force Bravo, and we are now on a strike team with the engine and the tanker.
Yeah.
So getting called out and having to do this out of town and find a draft and everything is more than likely. Younger guys kind of just pay attention to what we're doing and take in some of the things. And the guys that are going to be driving and pumping, dig into it, ask any questions you can.
And we are the only town. Most of our neighboring towns don't have hydrants. Most of you are going to be drafted.
Besides Minnesota Road.
Right. Or we'll be in the tanker task force loop, but depending on how the Bravo task force wants to put us, they can put us as a draft truck, whether it be a hydrant or at a water source. Now, Newtonville is usually put on a water source to draft, and they've failed every time with trying to grab water, whether it's a pump issue. It's usually their lines, and that's the biggest thing with the suction lines. You'll see the smallest amount of air in the lines is going to create a issue with your draft, losing your prime, losing your draft. There is having some water available is going to make it a lot easier if you can wet prime the line before you're trying to draw 20 feet of suction out of the pond. So we'll go over that and everything. Positioning is the next biggest thing. Where the truck's located now, it's going to be close because of the depth of the pond. We'd almost want to have the truck kind of nosed in like this, so that the further out that we can get the hose, the further, the better position that we are, that we're not going to start drawing muck and everything. I stuck it. We have about 4 feet of water, which I've drawn off of like 18 inches of water, depending as long as it's a flowing source. And I say 18 inches of water is like incoming from, well, it's not just a pond or a puddle of draw. Can you draft off of a tanker?
Yep.
Absolutely. So, that's the same operation, more or less, that if it's a tanker doesn't have a pump, it's going to be hard suction up the tanker, and we're going to draw off of that.
The less hard suction, the better. Less problems with air, keeping something recirculated.
Frank put out a make sure he opens the vent. Most of the newer style tank trucks have the vents there. It's for relief, but some of the older tractor drawn
jobs.
the old tractor drawns, like we actually welded a vent into ours. That was why it would look like a geyser as you go down the road and the water would slosh. It would blow out the top. But Frank's saying is as I'm drawing that vacuum, I can actually collapse their tank. Pull enough back.
Wait, Ken?
Gina.
Oh, really? Which company?